We are live for another interesting episode of LinkedIn and YouTube, right? I think my voice is lagging. The voice and camera, it's not matching. So I'm so sorry, guys. Please bear with me today. Okay, so good afternoon, good evening, good morning from whichever part of the world you're watching us from. And this is Jyoti Pandey. I'm a life coach and a lawyer by profession. Coming from 15 years corporate background, I understand the struggle of corporate professionals who feel stuck, and I do an awesome job over there. So this is me. I have with me Neeta Singh, and Neeta Singh is basically, first of all, she's my friend. She is a work from home mom, entrepreneur, and a mother of two beautiful children. The author of the book Lion's Boy. And the best part, the funny part about her is she is fascinated by the term embrace elevate. Now, what is that embrace elevate? She is gonna tell us. So, Neeta, before we proceed, a little bit about yourself.
Hi everyone, and thank you, Jyoti, for that fantastic introduction. So, yes, I have 14 years of corporate experience, and then I forayed into this journey of being a coach and author. And there were a few things that kind of pushed me to get into this. Though I think the universe was always giving me the sign that this is where you need to go. So, I read it very late, but nonetheless, I'm here now. Embrace Elevate is a program that primarily focuses on the growth of a woman. It's a 4 months journey where you are taught to embrace your habits or things that you don't really like about yourself. Because only when you embrace these things or the darker sides of you, acknowledge them, and then let them go, can you actually elevate yourself to the next level. So it's very essential to understand the power of holding on and letting go. So the more you hold on, the more you get dragged behind. And if you want to live a life that's, stress free, it's not constantly haunting you with the past memories or whatever is, that you have had in your past. If you want to live that's free of those kind of traumas, then you have to understand to let go and move on. So this is a journey that I help women with. Also, it also deals a lot with the value of self worth, because it all starts with you. So, understanding your own value, understanding your own worth before you start giving it out to others. Um, so, that's primarily the entire program, how it is based. And it's a 4 months journey because it's a very focused step by step process. And that's why the title Embrace and Elevate, because embrace whatever that you have in your life. And then, along with that, you elevate yourself to the next level. So, yes, that's about it.
That's wonderful, Neeta. Thanks a lot for the brief introduction. And definitely, there are a lot of women out there who want to feel empowered and elevated in their life. And if you want to do the same, definitely Neeta Singh is your go to coach. Now, the topic for today's discussion, which pampering activities. It basically actions and practices that prioritize physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional well being. You can choose the best one, whatever suits you, as in exercising, journaling, meditation, spending time in nature, or engaging in hobbies that you are attached to. So, Nita, about self care, what is your definition of self care?
For me, self care, like I mentioned, is a part of me which is probably something that I don't really like to uh, acknowledge it head on. Maybe it's a fear. It's something that someone has said to me over the years. So I feel like this is not me. So for me, self love is going and searching that part of me and telling that part of me that it's okay. I know this is what has happened with you and me, but it's time for us to let go of these things. I should have been there for you at that point of time. I wasn't there. However, Today I'm operating from a state of awareness. So I am aware of how hurt you were at that point of time, but now is the time for us to heal. So for me, that is self love. When I understand parts of me which have not healed, which have had their own traumatic issues, and when I work on healing those parts, that's what self love means to me.
So self love and self care is more or less the same thing. What do you say?
I would say they are slightly different. Self love is, where you are, like I said, operating from the state of awareness. And care is where you are acknowledging, you are saying that, yes, I know I have this part of me, but now that I know that you are there, I will not operate from this way. It's okay. And we will work on this together. So you find a different way for responding to the same situation probably. So that is self care, where you are not being too harsh on yourself, when you are understanding that you have to fill yourself in terms of your emotions, your love, and then you can pour from cup that's filled. You can't pour from an empty cup. So self care is more about filling yourself up with those good emotions, those good thoughts, that kindness, that love, that compassion that you would give to someone who is looking for it. So today, if let's say, Jyoti, you are probably not feeling very good due to whatever reasons, and and we happen to meet. So we meet and I talk and I tell you, Jyoti, you should do this, you should do that. So all that I'm trying to tell you when it comes to taking care, why should I not do that for myself? You know, and that's where people have a disconnect. So before going out and opening your heart, that's so pure and full of love, but instead of opening that for others, start by opening that for your own self. Start it
Hmm.
with you and then give it out to the people, because then you radiate that way. Your vibrations change.
Hmm.
So that's the slight difference between self care and self love.
Nicely explained, Nita. That's really interesting perspective of self-care and love, and how we can differentiate. If our cup is not full, how can we be in a position to contribute to someone else's life? So that's really interesting. One question that I would like to ask is, how do you prioritize self-care in your daily routine? What should one do on a day-to-day basis to elevate that thought self-care?
Okay, self care starts with operating from a state of awareness. So for me, it took me time to cultivate that habit, because what happens is we are so conditioned to live in a particular way of life, and the period is so long, that it's very difficult to challenge that old habit and replace it with a new one. So what happens is, when you are going to work on creating a new habit for yourself, your mind is going to challenge you. Your mind is going to say, why do you want to do this? Nobody cares. What do you think is really going to happen? These are the talks that are going to come into your mind, you know. So for me, what I did was, I first started operating from awareness, in the sense like when these talks started coming into my head, I said, that's okay. I can handle this. I can be better than this. So there were two, three lines that I would tell to myself, and that would kind of, calm me down. And then I follow the rule that Mel Robbins always, she talks about the 5 second rule. So
Mhm.
you wake up in the morning, you look at the mirror, and you are at your probably the ugliest, in terms of the way you look when you wake up in the morning. You have no makeup on, and your hair is messy, your clothes are different, and there's no one around. It's just you and the mirror. In that phase, how do you embrace yourself when you're looking at yourself in the mirror? Do you like that face which has no makeup on, which has probably your wrinkle lines over there, which is your hair is not done well? Do you like that image of yourself, and can you show some love to that image that you see in the mirror? So for me, that was challenging, and that was a very thought provoking phase, and because I used to be very honest, initially when I started with this habit, I used to hate looking at the mirror. I used to feel like, oh my God, look at my eyes. Oh my God, I've started growing old. Oh my God, I'm not looking this, I'm not looking that. I have puffy eyes. So from that start, I moved on, eventually, slowly. I stayed consistent, even though these thoughts came, and they're very natural to come into your mind. So even though despite these thoughts, I ensured that I'm going to tell five good things about me to my own self. And uh, and just like, your mind starts playing those games. Oh yeah, you really think you're so good looking, or you really think you're so great, or you really think you're doing such a fantastic job. And I said, okay, fine, cut the crap. I'm still going to talk these things to me. And for you won't believe, for the period of next 6 months, when I stayed consistent with that statements, I felt eventually a difference, because then it became a part of me. And when it became a part of me, then that I felt it from within me that yes, this is the new me. So it requires effort, it requires consistency, it requires operating from a state of awareness. But yes, this can definitely happen, and it needs to start with you.
Yeah, that's a good exercise, Nita. And I'll tell you, even when I heard someone talking about on internet that whenever the first time you get up in the morning, have you practiced the habit of high-fiving yourself to your own self? So that's what I have started doing from last couple of months, and it absolutely feels amazing. So that is
Absolutely.
a part. And when you talk about habits, right? So according to me, actually we don't leave a habit. It is not possible for someone to leave a habit because, as per my understanding, whenever you're trying to leave something, your focus goes on that particular thing. So you cannot leave something, rather you adopt something else, adopt some other habit, give your focus on that particular thing. That's how you tend to forget the thing. Maybe someone is into drinking, someone is into binge watching Netflix or Amazon, so instead of doing those things, if you focus on doing something else, that can definitely add value. What do you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, yeah, see, the old habits die hard, and I think that's a very true statement. But for your old habits to die, what are the new habits that you're creating in your life? What are you
Correct.
replacing them with? So you have to offer some sort of a replacement. Only then your old habits will eventually die out. I mean, die out in the sense like they won't really affect you to the extent that they are affecting you right now. So to achieve that phase, you have to start working on replacing it with something that works for you.
Mhm. Okay, so now the next topic that I have is, we talk about the job professionals, we talk about entrepreneurs or businessmen, or we talk about the home managers, the females who are taking care of the household daily chores, taking care of kids, husband, food, and every other thing that needs at home. So that is considered as business as usual. For job professionals, it is business as usual. For those female homemakers or home ministers, that is also a business as usual. So how do you recognize when you need to take a break, and what is the time of realization that there is some self care required, there is a moment of introspection that is required?
I think it actually depends from person to person. What you define as your boundary defines your self care. So I think it starts with setting your boundaries, because if you don't know your boundaries, people are going to walk over you, whether you're a homemaker or you are a working professional. If you don't know where your boundaries lie, where to say no, where to delegate your work, you are constantly going to be operating from a state of being very overwhelmed and constantly being stressed, because you have to meet the deadlines, or you have to meet the deadlines of your families, because probably you have to cook certain meals for them. So again, I think it starts with you, where you kind of set certain rules when it comes to how do I put it? Like, if you're a homemaker, probably you could divide certain days, like these are the days when we would cook something, these are the days when we would go out. Let's divide our work between the husband and the wife, because it's very essential to have a partner that's understanding and accommodating, because these days we live in a very different world than what our parents used to live. And things were very different back then, and things are very different today. Today, almost a lot of couples are working. The children are being taken care by the maids or by their in-laws or the parents, grandparents. So I feel there is a lot going on in the lives of people, in terms of mental and emotional stress.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why a lot of arguments and blame games, because everyone is exhausted,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't know how to communicate that. So I think it all starts with how openly you want to communicate. If there is something that's bothering you, sit down with your leader, your team worker, or if it's with your husband or your wife, sit down and have a clear communication that this is what is affecting me. And let us work in a way that works for both of us, that doesn't exhaust us mentally and emotionally. So,
Mm-hmm.
one would be speaking very clearly what is there on your mind, setting boundaries for yourself, and delegating tasks as and when possible. I think this is what will kind of bring down the level of the stress that people handle these days.
Mm-hmm. So, Neeta, since your program is based basically to empower women to be their best selves, so it happens a lot of times. We hear the stories wherein, these females who are, if there is an iota of entertainment, if they do for their own self, exact moment they started feeling guilty that instead of doing this, I am watching a movie, or I'm going for a movie, or I'm talking to my friend. So how to handle those, guilt, or how to handle that guilt and take care of self care at that moment?
You know, I feel women by default, by their nature, they have been designed with a behavior or a heart that comes in a very nurturing form. So we are very like tender, we are giving, we are loving. So, and on top of that, we are raised in a way, and we are conditioned in a way that you're a woman and you're always supposed to sacrifice for the better of others, and you also always have to put others before you put yourself ahead. So when you are raised and growing up in this way, suddenly when you want to take a break for yourself, you feel guilty, because all these thoughts start coming inside your head. One thought will be like, how can you take a break, how can you relax, when your child is asking for food, the husband wants a snack, and how can you think of taking a break, or how can you go and watch a movie, when you have grandparents at home, you need to give them their medications on time. But I think before all of this, you are a human first, you need to acknowledge that. And the second most important and the dark reality is that we are all replaceable. We are not permanent residents of this earth. So we need to understand that tomorrow, when you are no more in this world, you will be easily replaced by either a maid or a caretaker. So it's perfectly okay to go and take that break, because only when you are operating from a state of happiness, from a state of fulfillment, and then that flows into your family, in the sense, when you are happy, those vibes move around in the house, and then everyone around you is happy. If you are operating from a state of irritation, from constant anger, agitation, and you're venting it out maybe on your child, your grandparents, whatever, and then they will pass it on. So the entire atmosphere gets very stressed, and they're all, connected in a very subtle way. We don't realize it, but they are all connected in a very subtle way to each other. So the more happier you are, I think everyone around you is, in a happier state and operating from a happier state. So I think it's perfectly okay to take a break. It's perfectly okay if your child misses a snack for once. Nothing is going to happen. earth won't shatter itself, you know. I'll tell you an small incident that happened. And this happened with me. So I'm going to tell my own example. So yeah, like you said, I have two grown up one is still growing up. And I was after a very long time, I took a break and I was just snacking on a fruit. And my son came and he said, I also want it. So I said, you just had it in the morning. I said, you had it previously also when I got it. And I didn't complain, you know, because it just got over within a few seconds. So I missed out eating the last time also. And then this time when I was eating the last one that was left, and my mom was standing right next to me and she said, what kind of a mom are you? You know, how can you not give it to him? I said, look, mom, it's not that he doesn't get to eat. Okay. But I am a human too, you know. I know I'm supposed to sacrifice and you're the mother. But I said it's perfectly okay if I eat that last piece. You know, even I have those feelings. You know, even I want sometimes, you know, that kind of indulgence. So that's perfectly okay. So somehow I have always, you know, taught my children that it's perfectly okay if I don't share sometimes once in a while things with you, because I also feel like to, you know, spoil myself or get indulged into
Mhm.
probably eating chocolate or it's perfectly okay. They understand how things work these days. So they
Mhm.
take it very easily. But the reaction that came from my mom was, you know, what I'm trying to explain, that this is how it impacts. This is how your conditioning works. You know, like, how can you not give your a mom? Or how can you not give your a woman? So I think it's perfectly okay to take break. It's okay to indulge yourself once in a while. And there is nothing, I mean, no court of law is going to hold you responsible for doing this to yourself. So yeah, go for it, women. It's okay.
Sunita, I was actually about to ask you to share a moment where practicing self care made a noticeable difference in your mental or emotional state. So, definitely, when your mom looked at you with that gesture and she was feeling, she must have got a different feeling altogether. Is she a real mom?
Yeah.
Does this lady love the child and all?
Yep.
That sort of feeling.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing
But
that I
it has
want.
nothing to do with the love. You know, I still love my kids as much as I used to love them earlier. So the equation doesn't change. But
Mhm.
it's how the other person looks me
Mhm.
in their eyes, you know. So in their eyes, the judgment, the perspective changes. Like, oh, she couldn't
Mhm.
give up. She couldn't do this. But it's perfectly okay. Like, it's okay. Having the last piece of ice cream or a chocolate, it's okay. It doesn't make you a bad mother.
Mhm. Okay, so the next thing I want to ask is now that Neeta, you have traveled a long way. You have been a corporate professional. You have been a coach. You have coached so many people to elevate them from a place where they used to be to a place where they are right now. So, for you and me, it is very easy to stay accountable because we also got a mastermind of each other and others also who are on the similar journey towards improvement each day, each second, each hour. But what is the message for normal people, who are in their caught up in their business as usual regular habits? How can they stay accountable in maintaining consistent self-care habits?
I think it needs to start with a little bit of effort. It's not going to just happen just because you want it. A lot of people want a lot of things. How many actually get it? That's one thing that we really need to look at, the statistics. Okay, so not everybody gets what they want, and not everybody does what they think they should be doing, or the what is the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if there is someone out there who genuinely wants to work on this, it definitely needs to start by watching your thoughts. What kind of thoughts are coming into your mind? What kind of thoughts are you entertaining? Okay. Are these really helping you in terms of your growth? Whether are they helping you in your work? Are they helping you in your house? Because a lot of times as humans, we tend to think of things that we don't want in our life instead of what we want in our life.
Mm-hmm.
And we go to the extreme level of negativity to the extent that, you know, oh my God, this is what might happen. While the fact of the matter is that it might never even happen because you haven't even started with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it first starts with what are your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Second is, you know, doing a brain dump. do the brain dump of what is it that is really bothering you, or whatever that is going on in your mind. Even if it is like, you want to go and slap someone, you just write it down, so that once it's out from your system, it gives you a little, a moment of peacefulness, calmness, and it gives you breathing space to think that, okay, now that it's out from my system, I can just take a few breaths of relief and I can move on to the next phase, what I want to do. These are very small things, but these are very essential things to do, because that gives you as a person to analyze your own thoughts. Then you come to know, okay, this is what I'm wasting my time into. I can probably replace these things with this, what I want to do.
Mhm.
So I would say two to three things only is start with watching your thoughts, start by understanding what results you're getting from these thoughts, use the activity of doing this brain dump of things that are going on into your mind that, where that don't allow you to focus or give your 100% to anything that you're doing. And
Mhm.
then probably a week later, you can just go back to the book and see what all you have written. You will just get a clear picture, what is happening,
Mhm.
where it is that, what is the pain point that's holding you back.
Mm-hmm. So I just got reminded of a proverb which says like the old people are sad because they are living in past. Youngsters are sad because they are living in future. The only people who are happy are the kids. So it is said that past is history, future is mystery. Today is a gift. That's why it's called present. So the problem that we right now have is we are always thinking about what will happen, what others will think, what this or that XYZ things that do not have a base. The only thing that we that have base right now is that you are here right at the moment, present. So be present in the moment. That is of utmost importance.
That's what mindfulness is all about, right? Mindfulness
Right.
is right now being in the present moment
Mm-hmm.
and only thinking of things which are in your control. Things which are not in your control, no matter how much you stress about it or, throw tantrums over it, nothing is going to change. So instead of wasting your energy into those kind of things, and this is an art over the years I have cultivated in myself, to stop stressing on things on over which I don't have control.
Right.
The only thing what matters is from what intentions you're operating. Okay, so if your intentions are good, of course the good things come to you, because I they say it's like, the laws, one of the laws of the universe, the law of vibration. So the way you vibrate is what you get back. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're operating from a state of pure intentions, you will get good things back. And if it's the other way around, then that's what is going to come back to you.
Mm-hmm. So I'm sure Nita, with this tips and tricks of yours, people must have got a lot of information. So I think before we part, what is the final advice that you would like to give others? How can they embrace what they have, and how can they elevate where they want to go?
For all the women out there, I just have one thing to say: start by acknowledging yourself. It all starts with you. Today, I can make you look like a celebrity, make you walk the red carpet, make you, get the best makeup artist in the world to get your makeup done. But if you are not happy from within, if you keep thinking, I don't deserve this, oh my God, maybe the stars alignment is wrong, I don't really deserve this. Until you get rid of these thoughts, nothing is going to happen for you. Nothing is going to work. Not the red carpet or none of the makeup is going to work for you. So uh, stop looking and working on the outer exterior of you and start working on the inner exterior, which is acknowledging what all you have within you, whether it's something that you're not very proud of, something, a childhood trauma that's hurting you till today. Whatever is that part, learn to accept, nurture, and handle that with care and compassion. And only then start, taking small, small steps where you are investing certain time for yourself. Probably, just walking out in the nature for 10-15 minutes, spending time with yourself. And over a period of time, probably going out with people that who genuinely care with you, bond with you. So spending, what are the kind of people that you're spending time with? Are they elevating you or are they bringing you down? So, be more aware with who are the people around you. And if there are people that you can't avoid, then cut down on the time that you're spending. So I think that's all I can say for now. Start by acknowledging those things, accepting and loving them and letting it go.
Correct, Nita. As we always follow, you want to become a person. Are you associated by any of those people in your surrounding? So what we are doing is we are chit chatting with females, or all the people who don't have a growth mindset. So if someone, this is what I follow, if someone do not have the potential to lift you, they don't belong to be in your connections. So if
True.
someone can help you to grow, they are the perfect mastermind that I always look for.
True.
Okay, Nita. So
You have to be more aware of what kind of tribe you're spending time with.
yes, and rightly said, your vibe decides your tribe. So what energy that you are throwing up in the universe, exactly you're gonna attract. So thanks a lot, Nita. Yeah, and yes, so everyone, whoever is listening or maybe listening later on, we will be there every Saturday at 12 p.m. noon India time, and do connect with us in case any of you need any assistance for elevating yourself. Thanks a lot, Nita, for being a part of it.
Thank you, Jyoti. Thank you for having me.